So you think that you want to become a real estate investor. Well, that's a good thought. And if you can, and you can become a successful one, you're gonna live that lifestyle that you always wanted to have. It's a great lifestyle, cash flow coming in, which allows you to travel the world, basically go see the places that you've always wanted to see, have enough money to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, wherever you wanna do it. But here's the problem. In order to get that house you want, the car you want, wear the clothes you want, you're gonna have to go through a long period of trial and error, which most people, these seminar gurus don't tell you, the TV shows don't tell you. You're gonna get your ass kicked. Straight up, it's not a get rich quick business. This is a get rich business. And even though it looks like some people have meteoric success and they're an overnight success, you're not seeing what these people do behind the scenes. You're not seeing the 16 to 18 hours they're putting in every single day. You're not seeing what's going on when the world's caving in on them and they wake up and they don't pull the covers over their head and they get up and they go out in the world and they fight every day and they fight in the trenches and they dig it out and they become successful. Most people are not willing to do what it takes to be successful at any level of entrepreneurship, not just in real estate. But guys, if you want to become a successful real estate investor, you're gonna have to work hard. And so what we teach you here on Investor Army is how to do that, right? So we talk about going to wholesaling, to rehabbing, to becoming bank financeable, to keeping a rental portfolio, while at the same time you're learning how to raise private money over here and do creative types of financing like subject to deals and owner finance wraps and different types of lease options and things like that. But when you start the business, you're gonna have to become a wholesaler, right? You're not gonna have a lot of money. You're not gonna have $10,000 just to drop on a mail campaign, at least not a lot of y'all won't. And even then, if you do, guys, don't just jump in and start dumping a bunch of money in marketing. Figure out how to do contracts, figure out how to talk to motivated sellers, call a bunch of them off a for sale by owner site. Even if you don't intend to get a deal, do it for practice, because when you're really in the game and you're spending $100, $200, $300 per phone call to get the phone to ring, you don't want to waste those leads. So be able to handle those leads, because you don't want to watch a $50,000 deal disappear because you stumbled over your words and didn't know what to say when you finally got that big fish on the line and you let it go, right? So as a wholesaler, it's pretty easy, right? We find the deal and we sell the deal. There's two parts. Now, I basically just made something sound really, really easy. That's not really, really easy. But guys, there's a lot that goes into it. There's the marketing side of things, the finding the buyers. But that's basically the two main parts. So on the board behind me, we're gonna be talking today about what happens after you scale out of the wholesale phase into the acquisition phase. Now we're taking title to properties. Now we're what we really call, what most people would consider an investor. And that's what we're talking about today. People who take title to properties. So you're gonna have a find and sell side of the wholesale deal, but there's 4 parts to every transaction when you're doing a different type of transaction in real estate, like taking title and actually owning the property. Now's where the real risk is, because there's not much risk in this type of business except for the marketing side of things. So what happens is you move into wholesaling, now you're making even more money, but now you want to start flipping houses. But you can't raise money, or you haven't been able to figure out how to raise money. You don't have credit lines, you're not bank financeable. So how do you get in the business? You're gonna need a lender, right? But who's that lender gonna be? So if you haven't watched our other video, guys, go back and look at the one on debt financing versus equity financing, because there's a huge difference. And most people, when they start getting into where they're actually flipping houses, they do so using what we call equity financing through a joint venture partnership. One puts up all the money, the other one does all the work. They split the money at the end, and that's how most people get into business. Why? There's 2 different common scenarios. This person's good at finding deals because they're a new wholesaler and they had to figure out how to find deals because they don't have any money. But one of the scenarios is this investor over here, this lender, is also a brand new individual in the business, a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, a business owner, and they want to get into real estate. And you may have met them at an REI club or out in your town at an expo, and they have a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of time and they're not serious about figuring out the business. They just want to get in and invest in real estate, so they need a deal. So this person is going to connect to this person and they're going to partner and they're going to do a deal. And so what happens is you have 2 inexperienced people. Now there's another scenario where this individual comes across this individual who's been in the business for a very, very long time, become very, very successful, and has made a bunch of money, and it's sitting on the sideline. And as a lot of rehabbers do, they become hard money lenders, or they basically become JV partners for these investors over here, and they split deals and they say, hey, come on over here, son, let me JV with you on this deal, and I'll put up all the money, and while you're doing it, I'm gonna teach you the wisdom of the game, and all you gotta do is give up half of that really juicy deal, right? And they're gonna take half that deal, because if they just loan their money out, they're gonna get a lot less as compared to they would if they get half the deal. But this individual needs the wisdom and needs the knowledge that this person can give them, and they need the money. But guys, let's focus on the first example for today because this is the most common one, and this is what I see a big problem out around the country as all my students come to me and they're getting tied up with inexperienced lenders, guys. First of all, lesson number one, never take a private money lender's last dollar. If this person only has $100,000 to lend, don't take that $100,000 from them. Why? Because your life's going to be a living hell, because the weight of the world that's weighing down this person, stressing this person out, is now going to be on this person too. So you want to make sure they have a little bit of money, first off, because you're going to get yourself in a situation that you're probably in over your head. Now, here's the common problem. This is what I see a lot. This individual puts up the money. They lend on a deal. They get in the deal. They do a couple deals together that go good, or they have one that just is not good from the get-go, and they're estimating, let's say they make $30,000. And it gets towards the end, and there's only $11,000 profit, which is half or lower, less than half of what they thought they were going to make, right? And so now tensions rise. They're upset, both sides are disappointed, fingers start getting pointed, and then what happens is they want a bigger share because they're saying, I put the money up, that's the most important part of the business, that's the most important part of the deal. It's because it's the only side they've really contributed, but is the money side of the business the most important part? And we're gonna talk about that right now. So, on the board behind me is a quadrant, an investor army quadrant, right? So we're gonna talk about the 4 different parts of a real estate transaction when you take title to the deal. And the first part, guys, is the marketing and acquisition. As y'all know, if you watch this channel, it takes a lot of money and a lot of skill and a lot of expertise to go out there in your market, in a competitive market at least, and find deals. Some of y'all may have markets where you can just hop on the HUD Home Store auction sites or go on the MLS and just click off a deal. That takes no skill. That just takes a little bit of work ethic and someone sitting around clicking a bunch of buttons. If you're in a competitive market, which some of y'all are right now, and you know you are, it takes a little bit of skill and it takes a little bit of money. It can cost this person right here $3,000 to $4,000 right now in our market to acquire a good deal. So they go out there, they meet with the sellers, they run around town, they put together the marketing campaigns, they're dealing with the property showings. It's a lot of work, right? So they acquire a deal. This person needs them because they can't get a deal, but they bring the funding to the table. So they're both bringing a lot to the table, right? One deal versus a deal. So who's more important, right? Who's more important right now in the seller's market where money's everywhere? Well, this person is going to be more important every single time. So if you're a lender right now watching this and you're in a deal with some partner and you're in a JV partnership, you're not near as important as that other person, unless you can find your own deals. But if you can find your own deals, why are you not just doing your own deals, making all your money? This person could not even put their money into a deal unless that other person brought it to them. So they may say, well, you can't do the deal without my money. And they're saying, well, definitely you couldn't do a deal without my deal, right? So this person is more important every single time. Also, this person's in charge of doing a lot more in the deal usually. Most of the time they're just funding it. There's the whole third part of the project, guys, which is the basic full transition from acquisition to remodeling the home, getting it ready for renting or selling, right? So there's dealing with contractors, aligning the contractors, talking with foundation companies, roofers, negotiating those contracts down, managing the project day to day, keeping the electric on, getting the insurance in place, keeping the water, there's so much that goes on, right? It's a big part of the deal. They don't just buy a house and it just magically turns into a rehab house, right? So that individual is doing a lot of work. So they found the deal, spent a bunch of money to find the deal, and they manage the deal to the back end. And now the last part of the deal is you have to exit the deal. So either you're gonna rent it or sell it. You could be selling on owner financing, you could be selling it retail, you could be renting it, you could be selling on lease option. There's lots of different ways to exit the strategy. But when you look at it, guys, those are the 4 main parts. You have the acquisition side of the deal, the marketing and acquisition side, and then you have the funding, and then the management of the project until you can monetize it in some way, which is either renting it or selling it, which is the last part of this transaction. So commonly, when the argument comes up, guys, I want to show you how to handle this. Because if you're this individual and you're trying to change your life and get out of the rat race, and this individual is giving you a problem, simply remind them, here it is. Put it on paper, draw a quadrant. Point out which section of the quadrant that they're adding and ask them, does it look like you're doing equal value? Now, I know your money is valuable, but right now, guys, there's money every single place that you look. If you're not able to find money right now, you're just not trying. You're really just not trying. Have you gone out there and called the banks? Have you gone out to your local REI clubs and talked to hard money lenders? Because, guys, just like a couple of days ago, I bought a house for $300,000, and I didn't know where I was going to get the money at the time. I had 7 days to close this deal, and I was telling my mom, and I was like, Mom, I got another house. She's like, another one? And I was like, yeah, it's $300,000 though. And she's like, how are you going to fund it? I was like, I don't know. And she about passed out, right? And I simply said, look, there's money everywhere. I picked up the phone. Literally that day, I had 4 or 5 people ready to lend on it, and it was just me picking which loan I wanted, right? So right now in a hot seller's market, money's everywhere. If you can find deals, the money's gonna be there. Now when the market turns, it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be hard to find money. So those who can find buyers and the money are going to make all the money. Those who can find the deals right now are the most valuable person in the market, but it can turn to where this person's arguably more valuable in the future, guys. But when they're trying to tell you that they deserve more of that deal, bring out this quadrant, say, hey, look, I'm doing this, this, and this. And especially if you're selling that house without a real estate agent, you're making a lot of extra money on the backside, saving that person a lot of money. So don't let them beat you up, guys. A lot of times these people are going to be someone that has been successful in business, in a different business, so they could be intimidating for you if this is the first time you start a business. But don't let them bully you, don't let them run over you. Stand your ground, and you at least deserve half, if not 75% or more, because guys, you're doing all the work. If you like today's video, share it around, subscribe, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Have a good day.